I thank the organizers, especially my students, Dr. Secretary, for inviting me here and asked me to speak a few words about a writer whom everyone has forgotten. And I'm also happy to see so many of my students and well-wishers and people known to me. But one thing that I see here is that many of the local English staff are missing here. I don't know why, but many of the faculty from engineering colleges in and around the country, you don't find here. And at the outset, I thank and congratulate the Secretary for steering this wonderful session, the International Conference in Delta. And I'm also happy that his family always is with him. And one is here, another is happy and happy. And I thought, he asked me the topic on which I would speak here. And I told him very frankly that Shakespeare has been forgotten. And I want to rehabilitate and speak something about Shakespeare. The time given to me is just 20 minutes because there's a tea break and it's followed by your own parenting address. And many of the universities have withdrawn the study of Shakespeare, and although I did believe that this is a relevant topic because it relates to trends and innovations in teaching English language and literature. There is no literature without Shakespeare. Shakespeare is for all the ages, and as Johnson, his own opponent, has called and applauded. Shakespeare is the soul of the age, the delight and the wonder of the stage. And he has been acclaimed, and lavish praise has been showered on Shakespeare as the bard of Avon and also as the scion of Avon, because he was born in Stratford on Avon. I'll just run through, make a very quick survey of Shakespeare's life and his works, so that within 20 minutes, by 3:20 I am asked to close, and within 20-25 minutes, I think I'll be able to give some information about Shakespeare. And every one of you as an English teacher must have read Shakespeare, some play or the other, a comedy or a tragedy or a tragicomedy of Shakespeare, or a historical play. And Shakespeare was born, as you know, in 1564 and baptized on the 26th of April. Generally, it was a customary tradition that the church allowed any child to be baptized after 3 days of the birth. So it is said that he was born on the 23rd April 1564, and coincidentally he died on 23rd April 1616. And we do believe that Shakespeare's parents were very affluent. His mother was very affluent, Mary Auden, and then the father was John Shakespeare. They were living in Stratford on Avon. There was a very short gap we call the lost years of Shakespeare. We don't know what had happened. And that was between 1582 and 1595. And during these years, Shakespeare has carved a M.A.K for himself as a great dramatist. We know that he is a poet, a dramatist, a sonneteer, and sugar sonnets of Shakespeare are well known to all of us. They are very popular. And Shakespeare began his life as a dramatist, as we know. First he wrote in 2 poems, The Rape of Lucrece and another one. And then Shakespeare began to write plays, because playwriting was very popular during the Elizabethan times, and the Elizabethan stage, as we know, is well known to us. It is here that William Shakespeare involved himself and participated in many of the plays himself as an actor, and along with even Johnson and Drayton and others. And Shakespeare became a playwright and also an actor. And it was the Lord Chamberlain's Men. It was later converted as the King's Men in 1603 with the coming of King James and in James enthused them to take up, playwriting, and Shakespeare involved himself along with others in this particular exercise or assignment. In the very beginning, as you know, Shakespeare was very greatly influenced. The university which like Ben Jonson and others, they did not like an upstart crow, as Robert Greene would say. In 1592, in a book called Wordsworth of Wit, Robert Greene says, an upstart crow, and a reference to Shakespeare. And people say, the critics say that it's about William Shakespeare that he was writing. A reference to Shakespeare because although Shakespeare did not go to a university, he was very well conversant with grammar and attended the King's Grammar School. And so Shakespeare had education, Shakespeare had scholarship, and Shakespeare was writing for the theatre, for the stage. We know what an Elizabethan theatre is. They were influenced by the Renaissance spirit of mind. These were the two moments that we find during the Elizabethan times, the Renaissance movement and the Reformation. And the Renaissance movement, Renaissance is a resuscitation or revival of art and literature in Europe that came to England during Shakespeare's time, just before Shakespeare's time. So revival of art and literature, people were interested in art and literature. And the Shakespearean theatre became very popular during this time. And Shakespeare was writing, Shakespeare was acting. And look at some of the traditions that were followed in a play. You have the soliloquy. To be or not to be, that is the question, says Hamlet. That is a soliloquy where the ideas and the thoughts of a person that existed in the mind are spoken on the stage. And it is for everybody, although he is speaking to himself. There is an aside. An aside is again another exercise that is followed by playwrights, including Ben Jonson. And in an aside, two people keep on speaking while there are other actors. And it is believed that other actors do not hear what they are speaking, what others are speaking. But there is a comment that the people, the audience know that. And the stage was beautifully and very scintillatingly arranged. And supposing there is supernatural element was very common. And supposing there is a supernatural element or a ghost that will come from outside, from up, it is almost that like a pulley that will draw water, and like a pulley, a person is, just brought down by the pulley, and he comes. And supposing he wears a very beautiful red velvet coat, it means that he is invisible to everybody else except except himself. Which means that the audience know, the whole of the audience who are sitting there, they would know that here is a character who knows, and here is a character who seems to be invisible, who is deemed to be invisible to everybody else except themselves. So these are some conventions that were followed, and these were the Shakespearean conventions or the Elizabethan conventions that were seen. You also have the 5-act structure, and you have the main plot and the subplot. You have a main plot, you have a subplot, and both of them are beautifully intermixed and intermingled by William Shakespeare. And then they are so intermingled that the whole play looks to be one. And this is the beauty that Shakespeare has done in his own plays. And you also find that William Shakespeare was a poet. Very lyrical, very melodious, very scintillating, what all he was doing. And the poetic power was enormous. And profoundly he was writing his own poem and poem, in his own plays. Look at the very first one, the Richard II. It is a historical play, but everything is in verse. He writes it in a very poetic way. Poetry is imbued, and you do believe that he is more a poet than a playwright in Richard II, which is a historical play. I'll start with, before I take up some conventions of Shakespeare, our study will be like this. Histories, and then tragedies, comedies, and finally tragicomedies. And how Shakespeare ends his own plays with a very great play like The Tempest. And 36 plays have been written. Now critics say that there are 38 because he collaborated 2 more plays with other writers. And there are more than 158 sonnets, although 116 are only recorded and considered to be William Shakespeare's. And so Shakespeare is, a luminous output has come from the pen of William Shakespeare. And the stage was so arranged that characters would come onto the stage and the audience would be expecting great